All right, thanks for stopping in. We're going to continue on this here. On this sketch we started a couple of episodes ago. I'm just going to darken it in some. We're just going to continue darkening it in some, make our pine tree look a little more piney. Try to put the larger bark pieces in the middle, help it look more round. All right, we're gonna subdue these circles here, these bark. And just trying to put something on there. Ain't too worried about it. When you're faking some texture, don't worry about it. Just put it on there. You can modify it later or tone it down or whatever. Or whatever. Wish we had our put a little light in the middle to help all right. Use that eraser to help us some highlights. We gotta darken things up. It's not dark enough, the whole thing. It's not dark enough. We need to darken some areas. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, we're going to try this. We're going to try this graphite powder. We may ruin it. We may ruin this drawing, but oh well. We're going to go for it. You just got to go for it. Just got to go for it. Let me grab a brush. That'll probably be able to wash out if it doesn't work. Yeah, let's try this. This stuff gets everywhere if you're going to use it. If you're going to use it, you got to be careful with it. So we're going to hopefully just getting the lid off. You can have an accident. You don't want to breathe this stuff either, so you don't want to be stirring it up. You don't want to be stirring it. You see that? You don't want to be stirring that stuff up. Actually, it comes with a little plastic holder that you can pour this in, but all that does is create a bigger mess. It'd be better to have a little bowl or something. I'm just going to dip it right out of the can. I'm just going to dip it right out of the can. Look at the texture of that. It's like a surface of the moon or something. You see that? That stuff is. So what we're going to do, let's try it. Let's try it in our shadows and see. It makes an interesting shades. It does. But it is very fine. It's very fine, and it gets everywhere. I've never used it when I've had a drawing tape down like this, so probably not the wisest thing I ever did, but at least it's not sliding all over the place. And look, see? Yeah. You don't want to be breathing this stuff. So let's see, but see how it gets all over real quick. If you're not careful, you'll have it all over you'll have it all over your drawing, and you put your hand down in this stuff, and it's just there, you know. It seems like it'll blow away, but it won't once it's there. Once it's on the surface, that's where it's gonna stay. But let's see. But it does make, you'll see, but it does make interesting tones. So we're gonna put it down here. Let's put it down here up close. Because we want to darken this. We want to darken this ground. Yeah, look at that. Like I say, I don't know if this was a good idea or not. We'll find out. I used it on a smaller drawing once. I've only did that one. I did a one drawing with it of a ship, but I didn't rely on it very much. But yeah, it does have interesting tones, and it makes them quickly. You know, it makes them quickly. And maybe I'll show you in a minute, I don't know. But you can put water on it, and it can create a mess. But water will darken it, of course, just like you would expect. Water on charcoal. It'll darken it. See how quick it makes? See how quick it makes tones? Let's see. It looks like it's serving our purpose. We want to get values in there quickly. Because see, we've done 2 episodes on this, which is amounts to about almost 2 hours. And it's still too light. This here will help darken it up really quick. We just need to keep our hands and arms off the drawing while you're doing this, because else you'll ruin it quickly. Or create a problem that'll take you a long time to fix. There's a lot of things you see in drawings you think is skill. I know it was with me, at least. I thought it was skill, and actually it wasn't. It was equipment. It was equipment. I know a lot of you are familiar with it, but I wasn't. It's called a quill, a turkey quill, and for ink, for pen and ink, and it makes the finest lines. I used to look at some people's drawings and thought, how in the world did they ever manage to, keep their pencils that sharp to make those fine lines? And it wasn't. It was just that they had one of those quills that can make the finest lines you've ever seen, and you would attribute it to skill if you didn't realize there's a piece of equipment that'll do that. And that's the way, and not a lot, but some of artwork is not skill, it's equipment. It's things you don't know about. Things I didn't know about. Things I didn't know existed. And it's also, it's knowing about those things and not being lazy, not being afraid to use it, not being hesitant to go up and go out and get it, A lot of it is that, and I'm lazy, so I drew all my life basically with a number 2 pencil, and when I got to be a grown man after I got out of the Army, and realizing, hey, look, there's all kinds of There's all kinds of tricks to this art stuff. Yeah, I waited too late, but it's all right. But yeah, there's of course I knew when I used to be a draftsman, so I knew about drafting pens, ink pens, which they make lines, pretty fine lines, for drafting, but you can use them in art also. But those are, I don't say they're difficult to take care of, but they require attention. When you get done using them, there's another device, a tool to clean them with, vibrates. You need to unscrew the heads and put them in that. It's just they're a pain in the neck to maintain, but they make good lines. But those kind of pens are for drafting. They're meant to be used like this, straight up and down, not at an angle. But yeah, they require maintenance. Now this, I don't want to get my hands into. I may do it yet, but I don't want to. See, even this, I'm kind of hesitant to put it down because there's a bunch of loose graphite all over this sheet. I'm going to blow it off this way. And you can see it is. I'm going to get it on my wall. That would be nice. It is helping with the shading. What I'm going to do in a minute is get some water and see if you don't want to. See, I sat there and did that entire thing at the base of that tree. Just like I was saying not to do. It's better not to do that. You keep moving. I was trying to get it to look right. Yeah, see. If we can get it to stay like that. See, those values are dark. If they'll just stay. But they can also get all over everything and smear and ruin what you've done. You just have to be careful. Yeah. Hopefully this water, when I get some water, that water will work and get it to stay. I don't know. I can see a little bit of help here. Yeah, see, stuff gets everywhere. Let's see. Let's get out there underneath those trees. Try to darken that area. All right. Something else I wanted to do, so we're going to try to do, is got some chimney smoke coming out of this tree. Chimney tree, out of this chimney here. So let's get that. Let's see if we can. We want to get that thin enough so it kind of hangs. It hangs in the air. And maybe up there, right? We don't want that clearly defined. We want it. We want that kind of light. We want that kind of light. There we go. Kind of dark down by where it comes out, but kind of light further out, like it as it dissipates. All right. Yeah, that helps a little bit. That helps a little bit. Let's see what we can get in here in these trees and see if this will work. Yeah, let's see if this will work. Yeah, getting that stuff everywhere. This would be good to use if you're going to do it. Use those smudging pencils that I was telling you about and made out of paper. I've got some. I don't know if I have any in this drawer. I think I might. We might try one of those. But yeah, we want some values in there that are dark. But we don't want this stuff everywhere either. Yeah, so let's see if we can get this under the porch. Yeah, there we go. And then we don't be careful. Yeah, there we go. Here on our cover sheet. Let me see if I can put some shade right here. Hopefully you can tell. Put some right up against this hill. Those values right there. Accentuate this hill. Or, yeah, this little ridge from the tree. Where the tree's at. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's get on that ridge line out there too. Since we're using it for values, let's get on that ridge line out there. Yeah, actually makes that ridge line look more interesting. Yeah, see, it does. But see that how delicate that stuff is. It sticks to the paper. I just blew it off there, and it sticks to the paper. See that? That's why it's really good to have. Really good to have a gummy eraser. See, look at that stuff smears everywhere. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do right now, instead of making the matter worse, I'm gonna get a little water here and see how. Get a little water here and see how. See if it works at all. Let's try it. Yeah, first I better get a rag. Yep, there's it. There we go. Let's get some water. I don't know. We better try it somewhere where it don't, where it might not just kill us like right here. Yeah. I don't know. It's working a little bit, but I don't know. It's kind of, like I said, I've used this once. I like it, but I'm kind of worried. Kind of makes me nervous. Kind of makes me nervous, but yeah, see. It makes the tones a little different. Look at that. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, see that? It kind of reminds me of ink when that water dries. Of you know, like a watered down ink, which is cool. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. It kind of solidifies. Now, if you use this, another thing I don't have with me right now that I should have is fixative. It's a spray. You can use woman's hairspray if you have any, but once you use this or charcoal, you need to spray it with a fixative or it'll smear when you touch it. You know, this thing right now will smear all over the place if I touched it. If anybody touched it, it would go everywhere because I've got this dust all over this paper. But if I had it, which I should have before I started doing it, but you can get it at Michael's or one of those craft stores, but it's called Fixative, comes in a can, and basically that's what it is, a hairspray in a can, but it'll lock down the graphite, it'll lock down the lead on your paper, and it won't smear. It creates a coat over the top of it, and it's made for this. But like I say, you can use woman's hairspray, and that'll work also. I just don't have any right now. But if I did, I would spray this once I got done using this stuff or using pencil. I would spray the entire thing. Yeah, see, it's, I don't know, putting water on it. I don't know, maybe sometimes the camera sees better than, and I haven't backed away from it, but looks like it's doing all right. I need to put something on this tree because I haven't. So let's do this. Pine tree. Let's get this pine tree. Let's get some values on this pine tree. That's what we need to do. Yeah, see, it's got, that brush is kind of wet, so it's working out. That's doing all right. I don't know. Should have got a dry brush. Probably put this on there. Yeah. Yeah, I should have got a dry brush to put this on there. So that's what I'll do. I'll go get one. Yeah, we need some value on that. We need some value on that pine tree, and then we're probably going to call this one because this is just. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not too happy with it, but let's see what we do here. We do a dry brush, bigger brush. Let's put that stuff get some value on this tree. This tree needs to be a lot darker. Like I said, the contours works the same way with a brush as it does with a pencil. The tree is round, so you want to put some contours in there to help maintain that illusion, right? Of course, you don't want them. Really. Yeah, this stuff is kind of difficult to control. Actually, maybe a charcoal pencil would be better. Yeah. So let's see what we got. Do we have one? I think we got one somewhere. I believe we do. Where is it? Where is it? Actually, I know we do somewhere, but I'm not going to look for it. I've got some lead in here. Let's try this. Let's try this. Yeah, this is not. This is just lead. It isn't very dark either. Probably a 3, or I would guess a 3. Probably number 3 lead. Yeah, no, that's not what we need. It is not what you need. It is not. I know. I know I put a charcoal pencil in here. There it is. There you are. There you are. There you are. Let's get this up here before I make the mistake of putting my arm on that. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Charcoal dust is okay, but you can control it. You can control that pencil a hell of a lot better. Yeah, see that? You can do the same thing with the pencil too. You can use water with it after you put it on there. Yeah, sure can. Now see, this should take some time. I should do this right, but probably won't. You should take some time with this tree, really. And because I had to make a damn pine tree, they're complex, time consuming to get them to look right. Yep, they are time consuming. But yeah, see, this is better. I like this better. But I would use that. Oops, see, look at there. I would use that powder and will. Because like if I was doing pencil, like seascapes, it'd be great for it. It'd be great for that. So yeah, I will use it. It's just messy. And if you got your your paper upright or your canvas upright, that stuff falls right down like like rain, and you'll have black streaks. You'll need to take your eraser in your hand, your gummy eraser, and erase those lines after you get done. Make sure you don't touch them with your arm. Yeah, that can't beat that. Can't beat that charcoal pencil, buddy. You just can't. You just can't. But that powder it has its place. Sure does. It makes interesting tones. It would be really good to also if you're doing portraits of somebody with, black and white portraits. It would be perfect for that because you can get a lot of tones out of it. But you'd be a nervous wreck by the time you got done. By the time you got done with it, you'd spend a lot of time with your gummy eraser. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I really made that pine tree prominent, didn't I? I sure did. A little too prominent, probably. But it is in the front, is it not? It is in the front. So let's see, here we go. Let's do this. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, we can still do that. We can still do that. And we can come down here. We can come down here and do this to our rocks. We just have to remember we got that stuff on our hands now. We got that stuff on our hands. And we're still not done. We're still not done up here, right? We need to make this part prominent. This right here, and we put those rocks in. We caused ourselves that work, so now we're gonna have to. Now we're gonna have to. Now we're going to have to darken them up because they're in the foreground. But what we don't want to do is make hard line and block the whole thing off from the rest of the picture, which we're almost doing right now. I say that every time, and it's difficult not to do it. It's difficult not to do it when you're making something that sticks out. You just don't want to run a line all the way across here. It'll ruin the picture. It makes it look like this doesn't belong with that. It may look like that already, so I may have ruined it, but yeah, can't believe we're already running up on time here. Yeah, see, tree limbs, rocks. There we go. There we go. We're gonna wrap this up today at any rate, whether it's done or not. I just want to show you. Some of these things, and I wanted to. For both of us, I wanted to try that. I want to try that graphite powder out. You can put highlights on your tree with an eraser. Like I said, use a gummy. I didn't create a light source. I don't know. I'm just going to say it's coming from this way, but I didn't. Your drawing looks better if you can create a light source. Makes it very much more difficult to do. But you can create your light source it helps your drawing look more realistic. Let's just say it's coming from, let's just say it's coming from this side, out there somewhere. All right. Right, so we'll put the light spots on that side. All right. May not look right. We didn't do a lot of planning. We just put this crap on there, so no worries. No worries, ain't no rules of engagement here, buddy. None. There is none. Ain't no rules of engagement here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say this is good enough for now. Okay, now I'm going to try to take this tape off, and we're going to see if it doesn't destroy the thing we want to do is make sure we put the lid on this before we start doing anything else, because you knock this stuff over and forget it. I wouldn't even, I think I'd just leave this room and lock it up rather than try to clean it. All right, so let's see. I'm going to try to take this tape off so that it doesn't, and you'll see that, let me put I'm going to put her name down here in the corner first. What day is it today anyway? I think it's the 24th. Let's see. All right, let's see if this works. Oh boy. I hope it does. And then I hope it does. Now, if this was, you were getting paid for this or something, you wash your hands before you take this tape off. That way you don't touch those borders. Yeah, it's lifting the paper right there. Let's see. Now. Now, here we are. We're going to get in trouble doing this. Come on now. Try not to get fingerprints in those margins. Gently peel this off. Like I say, if you use drafting tape, you ain't got to worry about this. You just pull it off. But this here is not drafting tape, and it will destroy that paper if you yank it off of there. Lucky it's coming off like this and not taking the paper. Ooh, new. Okay, we successfully got that tape off of there. All right, let's see. See if you can see this. See those borders? You see that? Let me see if I can turn this around here. I'm gonna do this here.